Yo, today I've got a review of the new NBA Youngboy album, The Last Slimeto. Well, it's really more like a rant than a review, but alright, let's get into it. Strap in for this one, boys. So, Youngboy, we all know him, arguably the biggest rapper to come up in the past few years, and I would say that mostly comes down to how often he drops music. By the time Kendrick Lamar dropped Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Youngboy had dropped, and hear me out on this, 21 projects, and I repeat, 21 albums. I've heard a handful of them, they've been okay, nothing too outstanding for me, but Youngboy knows how to make a banger. So I went into this project pretty excited. Until I saw this. 30 songs. An hour and 20 minutes. 30.
30.
Why? Just why? Please tell me, Youngboy, please, why?
Why?
I think I may know his thought process behind this. Oh damn, 30 tracks, that's a bunch of new music, let's go. But it doesn't work like that. Nope, that is not the case with albums with this many tracks. I don't want to sit down and listen to 30 tracks by the same artist. I just really can't do it. Any artist, given like Kanye is my favorite artist of all time, I would not want to sit through 30 straight tracks of Kanye West, or any artist for that matter. Youngboy is not the most versatile artist if we're being honest, he's just good at his lane. So this project doesn't have much variety to it to make up for the number of tracks, but to be honest, no artist could ever hold up to a full 30 length track project and actually make it good. Like, it's impossible. That's not possible. An hour and 20 minutes. Nah, I'm still mad. I wasted an hour and 20 minutes of my life listening to this shit. Okay, let me calm down a bit. Let me collect my thoughts. The general sound of this project is really not much different from what YB usually does. It's just kind of trap. That's about it. Usually, I find it pretty hard to tolerate trap albums with bloated track lists. Not even trap albums, like any album in general, but mostly with trap. Let's say over 18 tracks and it starts to really be a drag. So this thing has 30 of them. And look, the songs here are not horrible. There's even tracks that I think are good, like which I will get into a bit later. Most of these songs are listenable. You can probably enjoy them on their own. Aside from a few misses, it really is not that bad. But what do you think happens when you sit down and listen to 30 of those tracks that have similar beats to them, or by the same artist, and the subject matter doesn't really change as well as the production? You start falling asleep. That's what happens. I mean, literally. I was getting drowsy and sleepy listening to this. Around the 20th track mark, I was debating whether to take a break and finish the album at a later time, but that wouldn't really be a full listening experience, would it? So I gathered all of my strength and all of my power. I was completely out of it for the last 10 tracks. Thankfully, I hate Youngboy Wake Me the Fuck Up, because that song is a banger. But yeah, this thing was pretty much impossible to listen to from front to back. I've given it a listen as background music as well, and it's okay, but even in that environment where it's really hard not to like the music, this thing gets too repetitive and boring for me. I just want to switch to something else and turn it off. I don't get the decision to go for 30 songs. I really don't. Thing is, this thing has some decent songs, which if it was cut down to like 12 tracks, it could be a really solid project. But instead, it puts those good moments and songs in the shadows, and for them to be completely forgotten about by putting so many songs on here. And I know so far that's really the only point I've made here, but I really want to put emphasis on how much it completely ruins the album. Also, tracks like Proof don't really help. Proof doesn't really offer anything interesting. It's 3 minutes long, which is how long are pretty much the rest of the tracks here. 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, around there. It's just a bit of a drag to get through, and I think that for a few songs in this project. Then there are about 20 or so songs. Yes, I know, that is a lot of fucking tracks. But yeah, those songs are pretty listenable and tolerable. Not when it's 20 of them in a row though, but you know, songs you wouldn't mind, such as Kamikaze and the track with Rod Wave. Even though I don't feel like Rod Wave was really necessary on there, he doesn't really do much. But yeah, this album didn't really have a lot of features. Rod Wave was one of really a few, and he doesn't really add anything. And there are a few tracks that managed to stand out here in this clusterfuck of songs. I think that tells you that they're pretty solid tracks. Youngboy's performance on The Last Slimeto is really just mediocre, pretty much like everything on this project. He does what he needs to do for the track, and that's kind of it. Production is generally okay, pretty regular Youngboy production and what you would expect, although I will say Youngboy has had better beats in the past. On this project, I can't really think of a beat that stands out to me. Like, for example, let me give you a Youngboy beat which I think is really solid and stands out, Make No Sense. The instrumental to Make No Sense, for example, has a lot more character than the beats on here. That is also something I'd like to touch on. With more recent Youngboy projects, including The Last Slimeto, I feel like they lack character. AI Youngboy 2, which is my favorite YB project, is a lot more consistent, a lot more vibrant, I would say, and a lot more stand out than his more recent work. This project really just kind of sounds like the cover. Dark, just kind of standing there. It exists, it's there, and it's incredibly fucking long. Before we get into my favorite tracks though, I would appreciate if you like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. To talk about my favorite tracks, I'll have to start with Maybe it stood out to me so much because it's near the start, and that's when I still had attention to this project while listening. I don't know, man. But nah, I'm just playing. The song is actually good.
hit that bitch.
7 Days, I actually quite like the lyrics on this, and again the chorus. In the tracks that I like, they have a really solid chorus. And lastly, I Hate Youngboy, the last and the best song from this project.
Youngboy, they gonna kill you, you better stop dissing them. Tell them niggas fuck them, man, they know that I ain't scared of them.
I find this thing to be virtually unlistenable, which isn't really what you're looking for in an album. The length of the project is by far its biggest downside, and enough to make me hate it and never, I mean never want to listen to it again. And hearing Youngboy not really try over very similar instrumentals for an hour and a half straight makes for a pretty drowsy listening experience. I'm gonna give this project a 2. I would say by far one of the worst, if not the worst project of the year. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. If you liked it, tell me why. If you didn't, also tell me why. I'm looking to hear you guys' opinions. But yeah, I've got big content in the way, so liking and subscribing would mean so much to me, as it'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.